How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Emerald City Hockey post game live presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. A night of firsts for multiple things tonight. Of course, we get Berkeley Catton's first and second NHL goal. Super happy for Berkeley and what he was able to do. This has been a long time coming. I think everybody felt a huge sense of relief for him when it happened. Gave a great post-game interview with Piper Shaw down there on the bench after this one. Mentioned blacking out a little bit during the moment, as we tend to hear from players when they finally get that first one. Love seeing that from that. And then also picking up a first win in the third jerseys, something that just frankly did not feel possible ever, right? I mean, we've been talking about getting the win in the third jerseys for so long. First win indoors in an alternate jersey. I just incredible. Like the whole thing. It was just incredible. What a night of firsts. So many fun moments to talk about in this one as the Kraken win 7-4 over the Boston Bruins. I mean, this was also just like a really fun game. Good high scoring game for the Kraken. Boost the stats of lots of guys on top of all of the firsts. But boy, it is nice to get the first goal on the board for Berkeley Catton. Get a second one on there for good measure too. He's earned it, that's for sure. And then to also get that first win in the third jersey. So, yeah, we could all feel good about them wearing them moving forward because it was getting rough. It was getting rough. If you've been holding off buying one, you're safe. You can go out and get yours for the next game. But yeah, lots of good stuff to talk about for this one. And like I said, not just the first, but also all the goals that the Kraken scored in this one and just how they've been playing overall here recently, how this game pulls them, I think, within 1 point of first place in the division. I mean, there's just a lot of positive things and developments for the Seattle Kraken right now, and I can't wait to talk about it for the next hour here with everybody on Post Game Live. RJ, of course, will join us in a little bit. I'm sure there's going to be a good celebration for the Kraken back in the room, and then I can't wait to hear some of the post-game quotes and stuff from everybody talking about getting this win, and also, of course, Berkeley Catton. So can't wait for RJ to join us in a little bit, as well as a guest potentially from the Beer Hall to talk about the Beer Hall, our wonderful sponsor. So good to be back in Seattle. I will say, when in St. Paul, went to a lot of taverns and stuff. Nothing comes close to Queen Anne Beer Hall. Just nothing comes close. Certainly in the pretzel category, nothing comes close. But atmosphere, vibes, all of that stuff. TVs in every direction. Good stuff at the Beer Hall. Going to start off with the super chat here. First one from B. See what you did there with the number, B. Really appreciate the super chat. Who knew that all we needed to break the third jersey curse was a Berkeley Catton goal or two? I don't want to speak too soon, but are the Kraken back? I think it's appropriate to ask this question right now, B, because I'm starting to feel like they are, certainly within the division and everything. And we'll talk about it a lot tomorrow on Deep Dive. I know both RJ and I have a lot of thoughts on this, but look, I think just to give a spoiler on what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, I think, yeah, they're back. And I think expectations now has to be postseason, just because of how they're playing, for one, and they're winning games, right? In the conventional sense for sports and competition, they are in fact good because they're putting up W's, and that's generally what it means to be good in things like this. But also because of just the way the rest of the division, the rest of the conference is playing right now. Nobody seems to really want it. Kraken seem to want it, and they're going out there and they're seizing it. And so I think it's time that we transition. It feels like we've been having to do a lot of back and forth this season, but I think like definitively now is the time that we can start kind of going more so in the direction of postseason or bust, and making that the expectation for this team, because they're playing like a team that wants to make the postseason. They have themselves solidly in a spot to make the postseason. They'd have to lose it from here. And I don't think this group wants to do that. I just don't. As for the Berkeley Catton stuff, obviously, so great for him to be able to get those two goals. The first one, a little bit of a messy goal, right? I think we've all kind of gotten to the point where, we were expecting it to maybe be that way. He's had so many chances for so many beautiful goals that would just be these great highlight reel. Wow, that was your first in the show kind of moments. Instead, it just comes on, odd angle slapper, kind of gets tangled in Jeremy Swayman's legs and goes in, and it's just like, all right, that's how it's gonna happen. But you know what? It just shows that despite the fact that he was not scoring, he was not losing that shooter's mentality. He's still been trying to make plays, still understands to make the hockey play there of taking that shot from the steep angle. I mean, it's just a really impressive read and play there from Berkeley Catton in that scenario to go ahead and make that play, because there was delayed penalty, which was part of this. So it's one of those where, hey, if the goalie saves it or if it bounces out to a Bruins defender, we get the power play, right? Like that is the perfect time to take a slapper one-timer from a steep angle and just kind of throw it on net and see what happens. You don't have to worry about a rush coming back the other way, anything like that. So I thought it was a great heads-up play from Berkeley Catton. He gets rewarded for that with his first NHL goal. I thought that was fantastic. And then for his second goal, we get the high skill highlight reel goal where he comes in on Jeremy Swayman, cuts back short side, beautiful backhander up and over his shoulder just to, hit the top twine and then back out. Beautiful stuff on that second one. But I think like both of those show the kind of player that he is. He is that high skilled player that can make the move and beat the goaltender like he does on that second goal. But he's also a heads up smart hockey player who understands situational hockey. And that's how he gets his first goal in the National Hockey League. And so I thought those were two really good goals to kind of showcase who Berkeley Catton is as a player, and certainly who he can continue to develop and become as he continues his NHL journey there. So again, thank you very much for the super chat. Be really appreciated. Schultz with the next super chat. Kraken eating curses like their PNW salmon. Yes, they are. I mean, this was the great cleansing game. Who knew that it needed to come in a 7-4 back and forth affair against the Boston Bruins, where you had, I think 3 players all finished with 2 goals in this one, spread out between both teams. Obviously, Berkeley Catton, who we've talked about a lot tonight, with 2 goals. Capo Caco gets 2 goals in the third period, and then David Pasternak on the other side of things with 2 goals of his own. So just kind of fun situation there with so many guys being on hat trick watch. But yeah, who knew that this is what it was going to take to break the curse? I'm fine with it. I'm happy the curse is broken. Everybody gets to rest easy. It's kind of over with. And hopefully, just like it was with Berkeley Catton getting the goals, this means that wins can continue and can come now wearing third jerseys, not just this third jersey, but all third jerseys and alternate jerseys here moving forward when we're under a roof. Like that would be nice. I'm just saying. And I think we've all been waiting for it. Something I've also been waiting for all night long, because I put it in my backpack. It better still be in my backpack. And it is this message from Jeremy. Lemon Lime Gatorade time, baby. Third jersey curse is over. Catton scoring 2 goals, 3 of 4 on the power play, and still 1 point from first place. And I do, in fact, have my Lemon Lime Gatorade time here. I will enjoy that. We'll see if I can easily open this while holding the mic. I don't know that I can. Might have to wait for when RJ joins us. But it has been a long time since on the post game with the post game curse that we've had throughout so much of the season that I've been able to have the Lemon Lime Gatorade. Oh, that is good. I need that too. This building was loud tonight. We were having to scream just to talk to each other up here on the press bridge because of how much fun all the fans were having, which was great. By the way, this building, I haven't heard it be this loud in a minute. Like, this was one of the games where I was like, you know what? I need to start bringing earplugs. Probably good for me to start thinking that way. But everybody was just having such a fantastic time here. Love when the building is loud like that. It just you can't help but feel energized by it. And so happy for all the fans that were here to be able to see that, for Berkeley Catton, be able to be here for the third jersey curse being broken and be a part of that moment and everything. I think it means a lot to everybody, to all of us who were in the building tonight. And so, yes, the Gatorade, very welcome. Also, because I've been up since well, let's see. I got up at 4:30 Minnesota time, so Central time, 2 hours difference. So I guess since what 2:30 here on the West Coast, I got about maybe half an hour nap at some point, and so I'm a little dehydrated with the flight back here and everything today. So I will be downing this Gatorade once RJ joins us. That is for sure. And then from Rianne, another super chat here. Little Cat earned his mittens. That he did. Rianne, thank you very much for the super chat. Berkeley Catton, this was so due. He's been playing, like I said earlier, fantastic hockey, heads up hockey, smart hockey. That is the kind of player that he is. He's been a hard worker through this whole stretch of not scoring. It could not have happened to better kid, more deserving kid. Like, it was just fantastic to see him kind of finally get this reward for everything that he's done in the 28 games that he's played so far in the National Hockey League, which is kind of crazy to think about. He almost did it in 27, which of course would have been a lot of fun. Him doing it on his new old number. How do we phrase that? But Berkeley Cat does get the number 27 back since Mason Marchment has left, and it seems to be working out pretty well for him, having 27 on the back of his jersey again. So excited about that for him, and thank you very much everybody for the super chats. Really appreciate that. As I come back over here into chat, got Jamin, for the first time since the home opener, the Kraken win the face-off battle in a victory. That is so crazy. There's so many stats around this team that just don't make sense. And this is something that like RJ has just been stockpiling them and just compiling in this insane spreadsheet that he has, that there is no cohesion on his spreadsheets. I just want everybody to know he's obsessed with making the spreadsheets. He has his master note spreadsheet. He has a different spreadsheet now just basically for weird numbers associated with the Kraken this season. And it is just like he just randomly finds pockets and he puts stuff in there. Don't anybody tell him that I'm sharing all this out here, but that feels like it belongs in just a random blank space somewhere on his spreadsheet. That stat. I mean, this is, yeah, it does feel like it's been a while since they've done that. And then, going back to the Lemon Line Gatorade chat, with the super chat, the power play percentage tonight, 75% on the power play, 3 for 4 there. It feels like the Kraken haven't done that in a while. This is the first game as well. This is one of RJ's stats that the team with the higher expected goal total won the game. In the previous 12 games the Kraken had played, that's wins and losses for the Kraken, whichever team had the higher expected goal total lost. Tonight is the first time that hasn't happened, where the team that, according to the analytics, should win the game actually won the game. So it feels like the face-off victory thing at home fits right in with that. Just, tonight Kraken earned the win and they got the win. Doesn't always happen that way. Andrew, who is this team? All of the curses back to back. Third jersey, post game live. Berkeley Cat and goal, purged in one game. Yeah, they've been slowly checking off the curses, and I think that they got some momentum from that. And then for this game, where they could just kind of kitchen sink all of that positive energy into this one game to break all the curses. I think they really wanted to do that, and they were able to do it tonight. Really happy about that one. Got Bob here. We broke the curse, and Catton finally got his first goal. When he got the second, I was really hoping he'd manage to also get the hat trick. I think we all were. I guess that's like the one silver lining of the Bruins picking up those 2 goals late, which was just that it kind of put them in a situation where they could pull Jeremy Swayman and we could see an empty net opportunity. I don't believe Berkeley Catton was out there at any point during the empty net opportunity. Unfortunately, I mean, I kind of get it. Lane Lambert maybe doesn't want to put the rookie out there while defending a lead, especially while the Bruins had momentum there late. Also kind of had the power play situation and everything. So I just don't know that it really worked out to get him out there. But Capo Caco able to get the empty net goal and pick up his second of the period, as I mentioned earlier. So it was it would have been cool to get that, but things just didn't work out that way. Also, Bruins, heads up, they never once dumped the puck in to give Joey the opportunity at the empty net as well. They seem to understand that was not probably a smart smart option against the goaltender that they were facing tonight. So we didn't get to see an opportunity there for him either. Mason all aboard the lane train. I mean, I think this is, again, I'll talk about it more tomorrow on Deep Dive, probably a better space for it than here. But I really do think that Lane Lambert, regardless of the defensive hockey approach and trying to grind out wins with this roster and all of those things that we generally talk about with this team, I think the biggest thing that Lane Lambert has brought is just that he's kept the room engaged. He's kept them focused. He's kept them playing with a consistent effort and bringing that effort out there, almost every single period, right? Like all teams dip for periods here or there. And I really, we were kind of questioning based on them kind of burning through Hackstall, blowing through Dan Bilesma last year with only one season on the job, if this group was kind of capable of that, right? And I stand by questioning that. I think that was a legitimate question over this past offseason. And bringing in somebody with Lane Lambert's experience and the amount of staffs that he's been a part of and the amount of NHL locker rooms that he's been a part of and been in a position to coach in one capacity or another, either as head coach or as an assistant coach. I really do think like the thing that we should talk about the most with him is not so much the systems and what he's doing there. It's his ability to keep this room engaged and focused. He kept them going and battling through the losing streak. They've come out of that. Now they have the winning streak, right? Or the point streak at least. That to me has been by far and away the most impressive thing about the Seattle Kraken group this year is what Lane Lambert was able to do within that locker room with this group of players to get them to play this way and to play with this much heart and effort and to, like I said at the very beginning of postgame, look like they want to make the playoffs and they're playing well enough to make that a serious possibility for themselves. And I think that Lane Lambert does deserve a lot of credit for that. Got a couple more super chats here. This one from Chuck. I was really rooting for a cat trick. Who's going to sit when Schwartz is ready to play? Team chemistry is so good right now. It's a tough call to sit someone or send them down to Coachella. Yeah, my guess is kind of, the person that kind of rotated back in for Ellie Tolvanen tonight would be the first one to go and probably goes when Ellie Tolvanen comes back and that is Ty Cartier. I think Ty Cartier probably ends up sitting when Schwartz comes back all the way. It's going to be tough. I guess Winterton maybe makes the most sense just because he's on the wing. And then you could kind of like move around wingers, either that or you move Freddie Gaudreau back to your 4C slot and you send back down Ben Myers. But I'd be hesitant to do that because that fourth line is playing so well. I don't think Melanson's put himself necessarily in a spot to be at risk of going back. I think that he's, not only playing well here and has, did he pick up a point tonight to keep his point streak alive? I think he might have when the fourth line got their goal. Let me just see here. No, he did not, unfortunately. Unless he got one as part of another one. No. But I think Melanson's played well enough to stay up. I don't think that he's at risk there. So it's going to be a tough call. I think it's going to come down to whether or not you value Gaudreau on the wing playing top six, or if you want him at your 4C spot, in which case I think Ben Myers goes back down to Coachella Valley there. But it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one that they're going to have to kind of figure out there. Got a couple super chats here from Sergey. Really appreciate that, Sergey. Overseer, I mentioned back in December how bad Marchman is for the Kraken. They moved him on December 19th and see where we are at. Yes. No, I mean, we talked about it at the time and yes, you did mention it back then. I do remember you commenting about that. RJ mentioned it when it happened as well in that first pod that we did afterwards about how this could be like an addition by subtraction type of situation. For, I think, a lot of reasons, Mason Marchment just wasn't really a fit systems-wise and what this team was trying to do and the way that they played and line chemistry-wise. Like, he just was not a fit for, whatever reason, for many reasons. Regardless, he just wasn't a fit with this team. And moving him out, getting, good assets in return for him. I'm still a big fan of the trade that Jason Bottrell was able to make there. it was addition by subtraction. It opened up room to play more guys. It opened up the ability to call up a Jacob Melanson as you have injuries, and you can do that. It gives you the freedom to call up Ben Myers when there's injuries, and you can move guys around in the top six. It opens up the ability for Berkeley Catton to get more minutes on the wing and to be able to play with Shane Wright and try to develop some chemistry there on that third line. And you know, now that Jared McCann's back, the three of them can play together and play really well together and come out here and take advantage of the matchups that they're seeing as a third line. I do think like these are all positive things that were just not possible with Mason Marchment on the team, occupying a roster spot kind of. And I don't mean this in the sense that he was demanding it, but just his veteran, you know, his seniority in the National Hockey League and his contract and the assets that you gave up for him when you traded for him and the expectations around him all kind of demanded that he get a certain amount of ice time and be used in certain situations. And because he just wasn't really a fit for the team and he was struggling in those situations, it was just kind of a hard, difficult process, I think, for everybody involved. So him going to Columbus, where he's a much better fit and he's having a lot more success there, made a lot of sense for him and for the Kraken. But yes, you were on it, Sergey. That is for sure. And the Kraken have definitely been better since that's been the case. Jason, I might be wrong about a rookie scoring their first goal 40 games in a row, but I've never been wrong 41 times. Let's go, Catton. Yes, for everybody who was kind of, you know, saying, oh, tonight's going to be the night. Tonight's going to be the night. You were finally rewarded if you stuck with it. And you did have to stick with it for a minute there. But it is nice. And yeah, 41 games in the books now. We are officially halfway done with the 25-26 season, everybody. And, you know, again, look at the standings right now and where the Kraken are at. It's a pretty decent spot to be at the halfway point. I don't know what the number is for if you're, you know, a point out of leading your division at the halfway point of the season and what that means for you making the playoffs. But I have to imagine that it's probably pretty good. And I will knock on the MDF that we have up here on the press bridge for those of you that might want me to do so after making such a statement. Lindsay, the Cat and Curse and Third Jersey Curse canceled each other out tonight. And of course, it had to be on a Tuesday post game. That it did. I'm really happy about that too, by the way. I'm really enjoying this and the vibes and the energy, all the excitement in the Discord during the game, all the excitement here as I'm scrolling past through all the excited Curses Broken and all the Berkeley Catton stuff. I love seeing all of it in here. And I'm having to scroll through a lot of it too. I'm definitely having to do that. Viren clearly brought some fun game energy back from Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, this definitely fit in with the games that we saw in Minnesota. We saw some really, really good hockey there. And then, yeah, we were able to come back here and see a really, really good Seattle Kraken game and Berkeley Catton young guys score, just like we saw all the young guys score at the World Juniors. So I do, you know, I'm not going to take credit for it, but I will say that this feels like an appropriate continuation of the week of hockey watching and viewing that I've had so far. Blake here, amazing game. Your thoughts on the no whistle on the Bruins' third goal? So yeah, I know a lot of people were talking about this one on Discord. I think you'd have to like kind of ask the ref. Not that that's a possibility, but I think that the bottom line was, you know, there was no whistle. The ref felt like he could see it, or at least felt like he knew where it was based off of where everybody was digging with their sticks. And in a situation like that, obviously from the overhead, it's kind of easy for us to see like, oh, there was no way that anybody could have seen that puck. But in the moment, I know some refs try to give a little leeway because if they see somebody digging with the sticks and they're on the other side, they assume that the puck is available and free over there. And it takes them a little while to come around and double check that. And they don't want to blow it too early, right? Because just as many situations where we get upset with the ref for blowing the whistle too early because they lost sight of it and it was free on the other side, and then it ends up taking a goal off the board. And so I understand why some refs do it that way. I think there's other times where you could mistake at the end of a stick blade for the puck. You know, in the quick moments, everybody's shuffling around. There's bodies all over the place. There's sticks flying all over the place. And I think it's very reasonable to think that you saw a puck for a moment there and that it might be free. So I think that it wasn't the most egregious lack of whistle that I've ever seen. Should it have been blown dead? Yes, it should have, but it wasn't. I don't think it's the most egregious thing in the world, and I certainly understand in the frenzy that those situations are why refs, different refs approach it differently. And I think that that's basically what we saw tonight. Was I think based on the battle for the puck on the other side of the pile from where the ref was initially, he might have assumed that the puck was kind of available there, or more available than it really was. And until he had confirmation, he did not want to blow the play dead. But that is also very much me assuming on his part. Like, I am definitely not speaking for the ref there. So just want to make that clear. That's just something that I know. RJ in chat here letting us know, as it shouldn't be a surprise, but the helmet is in Berkeley Catton's stall. So I am not surprised to hear that, but still, it is nice hearing it, and really happy for Berkeley Catton there. Are you guys going to cash in on cheap airfare to California? Yeah, probably. I'll use it as an opportunity to take a trip down and visit my family for sure at some point. I got to see like what dates it's all available and all that kind of stuff. But hey, we have not gotten a lot of the Alaska flight discount codes this season. I don't care where they're to. I'll take them, right? And not only that, also got the Phil Sid final minute one tonight. Kraken are really trying to get all the promotions out there in one game. Almost got the hat trick discount on hats or free hats the next game. I forget exactly what that promotion is because we never see it. But almost got that one tonight as well. So it was a night of firsts. It was a night of curses broken. And it was a night of discount codes for Kraken fans around Climate Pledge Arena. Lindsay, my mom saw how young Catton looked, and she asked if he's 14. Well, I think that's fair. It's very fair. Some of these guys look so young. I mean, certainly being at World Juniors where some of them are as young as 16, you're just like, oh my God. It looks so young. Ever since I turned 30, they look even younger. It's kind of crazy how that happens. It's just like a flip switches in your brain, and you're just like, wow, those guys, they look like literal children all of a sudden, where before they looked like peers, right, growing up. So it's an interesting thing there. How's it going, Pablo? 7 goals. We were on a roll, 4 straight wins. Way to go, boys. Yeah, it's a good time right now in Kraken land, for sure. And then George here, also of note, thinking of former Squid Hayden Fleury, who took a devastating fall into the boards and had to be stretchered off the ice. Yes, I don't know that there's been an update on Hayden Fleury's situation. It was kind of a weird, like awkward fall for him. Goes down, kind of slides into the boards head first, back first. Really gnarly looking. Obviously, you hate to see the stretcher come out on the ice. I know there was questions on Discord about whether or not Cale would have known before the game what happened with his brother there, and I think that it's possible that Cale did. There was certainly enough time for that. I think that it comes down to, different teams have different policies on cell phones around the game. Some teams allow them during intermission. Some allow them up to the time when it's time to go out there onto the ice. Other teams say, an hour before the game starts through the end of the game, no cell phones. It's kind of a personal team policy type thing that coaches and front offices will put in. I do not know the Kraken's policy on that. It seems like they're able, sometimes when we see them during intermissions, they're able to check their phones. So if that's the case, Cale probably saw something, or was, at least received a message from somebody. If the Kraken did have a policy in effect, or if this was to happen during a game in a different scenario with any player, just because I do know how this tends to work, and this seems like a good teaching moment. What teams will tend to do is they will wait for an intermission, and then they will notify the player that something happened to, a family member, right? Whatever it is. I've heard of this usually happening. There's been like some sort of emergency. Somebody's gone to the hospital who isn't playing a hockey game, and they'll talk to that player and kind of, they'll give them the information that they have, maybe have the conversation with the player about whether or not the player wants to continue playing, or, kind of go deal with the situation. So I don't know if the Kraken did that tonight for Cale. I do know a lot of athletes, just in my experience, they do. If it's a situation where it is, It is far from where they are. It's not like an easy just hop in the car and go and be there. They do tend to want to play through that because so much of their life and so much of how they've grown and learned to process emotion and all of that stuff has come through the sport that they play. And a lot of them, they play through that emotion because that's their way of dealing with it and understanding it and compartmentalizing it for the moment and all of that. And so I don't know that that's what Cale Fleury did this evening, but it's certainly possible that that's what Cale Fleury did this evening. And then would, of course, be involved, I would think, by now with, checking on his brother and trying to get whatever updates that he can. And, certainly we'll see what ends up being the situation there with Hayden, but obviously wishing him the best. Lindsay, remember like 3 weeks ago when Mason Marchment was on our power play? Thank goodness that's over. Again, it just did not work out. He was struggling mightily with everything. And yeah, not having him on the power play, the ability for other players to be involved in that scenario and situation, it is certainly just made things a lot better. Things are just running smoother. I don't know. I'm trying to thread the needle here. It's tough. But yeah, things are definitely going good there. With everything. Sean Lee Lambert is doing things right in Seattle. Yes, he is. And then Viren, I totally missed that there was a delayed penalty. Casey, I don't think the broadcasters noticed either. Yeah, no, it was just because if you go back to that first Berkeley Catton goal sequence and kind of what happens there, McCann gets turned around as he's trying to break out of the zone. There was a hold on McCann from the Bruins defender, but he was able to kind of retain possession. He's able to send it up the ice, and they were able to then, finish the play. He's able to get it over to Berkeley Catton. Berkeley Catton's able to score there. But the ref's arm was up, and it was definitely a holding penalty there. Ben Myers has been amazing. Any reason why he won't be up here all year? Thought Catton's first goal was beautiful. Dylan didn't think there was anything messy about it. Yeah, I don't think it's that messy either. I like hockey plays like that, but boy, everybody sure described it as such up here. But it's one of those. I like a good heads up hockey play. As for Ben Myers, I think it just comes down to there's just not going to be enough roster spots when everybody's healthy, right? When everybody comes off IR, Ellie Tolvanen, obviously illness keeps him out of tonight's game. So that's going to be a roster spot coming back. Jaden Schwartz, as we talked about earlier, roster spot coming back. It's just difficult to find spots for everybody to play. It's not an easy thing to do. And I think that it's just one of those things where Ben Myers might be a casualty of that. If they want Freddie Gaudreau, or if they feel like they have to have Freddie Gaudreau move back to center, somebody's going to need to kind of move off the wing there at some point, just because you have so many wingers coming back now that McCann's healthy, Berkeley Catton's good to go, and he's healthy again, and Schwartz and Tolvanen come back. It's going to have to be somebody who's going to have to come out of the lineup. Like I said, I think Ty Cartier probably doesn't see regular playing time, but I don't know that he makes sense to send down to Coachella Valley. I think you might have to waive him, and I don't think that would be a smart decision. So it might have to be somebody that is, safe to be waived, in which case I think it becomes Ryan Winterton or Ben Myers. We've already seen it with Yanni Newman, right? Like it's a good problem to have, that you have so many people, but it is also tough when you have to make those calls on who hangs around and who doesn't. We've got Nick in here. So many goals. I do think like kind of getting lost in all this is the fact that the Kraken put up 7 tonight, right? Jordan Eberle gets another one. He's up to 15 on the season. Capo Caco gets 2. Great to see him kind of get going and everything. I think he also might have picked up an assist as well along the way in this one. So love seeing that for him, just because he's missed so much time this season and so much excitement around him having the full first off season with the team. I think the Lane Lambert system fits Capo Caco so well. So I like seeing him kind of get going there and pick up those goals. And yeah, he got an assist on the power play goal, the Berkeley Catton second goal. So 3.9 for Capo Caco. I don't think that should be ignored. Vince Dunn picks up a couple more helpers in this one. Matty Beniers gets an assist to kind of keep things going and on a roll for him points wise since really last week when we talked on the deep dive about Matty Beniers' points not kind of being there this season. So I do think I think like it's good when the Kraken are kind of scoring like this and everybody can kind of get a piece of it. Chandler Stevenson picks up another assist. Freddie Gaudreau gets a couple of assists in this one. Ty Cartier working back in the lineup. Ben Myers gets the goal. Like, not to be lost in all this is the fact that, yeah, the Kraken put up a lot of goals this evening, and that's something that they haven't been able to do a lot this season. But it's certainly something that if they're able to do this a little bit more, good things are going to come. Good things are going to come from it. That is for sure. Let's see here. The Kraken are now back-to-back merchants from Invader. Yeah, that's right. I guess we could call them that. They are just absolutely crushing it now with the back-to-back games. I don't know that we could go quite that far, but yeah, we'll see. And then George, FYI, for anyone who bought a Catton jersey before the number change, I was able to get a brand new jersey free of charge at Climate Pledge Arena. So cool that they honor that. Yes, they I don't know that they kind of officially announced that, but I do think that you're going to be able to kind of get that changed if you need to. I don't know how long that would go. Obviously, you'd hope that it would be for the rest of the season. I don't know any details on it, but I would certainly, if that's something that you have a 77 Cat jersey, you're interested in the 27, I would go and visit either the layer here at Climate Pledge Arena, or you could also check in at KCI at the team store there, and they might be able to help you as well. No guarantees on that, but I think it's certainly worth exploring if you're more north in the city and it's a little easier to get to there. Other than games with goalie fights, how many times have both goalies been penalized in the same game? Yeah, so that was the question that we had for this one, and we were kind of looking into it. It does not happen often. I think, let's see, there was some stuff in Discord. I'm gonna have to see if I can kind of scroll back for it, but it seemed like for the most part they were all instances of goalies leaving the crease, so like not necessarily having actually fought, but on their way to fight is kind of how most of those ended up happening. But we have RJ here ready to join us alongside a special guest.
Hey everyone, we got Jonathan West along with us. If you've been to our watch parties or any of the Kraken watch parties at Queen Anne Beer Hall, you might recognize him, the awesome MC that always brings the energy to the hall. He's also towers over me in height, so actually I think he's like flipping into the graphic there. Well, we got to make this look closer than it is. But yeah, got Jonathan joining us as a special guest at Queen Anne Beer Hall. Check out the jersey he's wearing. I mean, that looks nice.
Yep, we made this in 2022 when the Kraken made their reverse retro. We decided to go reverse retro. So we haven't come out with a beer hall jersey since, but we need to roll out with one for the Torrent and get back to doing that because it was highly popular when we did it, especially during that playoff run during year number 2.
Yeah. So I mean, the beer hall has been close with the Torrent, doing a lot of stuff with the Torrent, and so I know I can't wait to see what that jersey looks like.
Yeah, definitely. And hey, speaking of playoff runs and everything, this team looks primed for one.
Yeah, they really do. Another win, and I mean, Dylan, you're probably getting a little ahead of our podcast conversation for tomorrow too. I know the two of us were talking. Really feels like Team of Destiny vibes are coming back, and I mean, the mood after this one. I'll start with just the stuff.
Can you get? I think the mic's on Jonathan.
Yeah. Can you hear me a little better now?
Yeah, way better.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I think the mood.
Just speak at me.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
There you go.
I'll tell you. But yeah, the mood after this one was pretty great. I mean, everyone was happy, and especially happy for Berkeley Catton. I'm sure we talked about it plenty, but that's the big story: is the Berkeley Catton first career goal, gets his second one pretty shortly afterward, and Catton, he's acknowledged right how tough it was waiting 28 games for his first goal, and even said too, the second one might feel a little bit easier, and it was nice to have it on a nice play as well, as opposed to, the first one he said he wasn't even sure it went in. He thought it might have gone wide or that it hit the post, but does go in off Swayman's blocker, and the guys were just so happy to him. Talking to Jared McCann afterward too, Catton talked about how much of a mentor Jared McCann has been for him and really for that whole line. And McCann, it was funny. He was like, "Well, does that just mean I'm getting old? Maybe that's just what that means." But he talked about how great it is, how proud he is of all his line mates there.
Yeah, no, we've certainly had a fun time talking about it on here. Everybody's so excited for him. I like that, both goals kind of showcase who he is as a player. He gets the really skilled, sleek, goal with that second one with the backhander, short side, up high, right? All that kind of stuff. But I like, taking that shot from a steep angle, the one-timer, delayed penalty situation, just throw it on net. You don't have to worry about anything bad coming back at you the other way. Just a good heads-up play from a smart hockey player on that first one.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan, I know you noticed the trend about kind of the way the Kraken were shooting the puck, and I think the Catton first goal actually is a better example of it, really, than even the second.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for this team to sustain a playoff run, in my opinion, they need to shoot the puck more. I mean, they're at the bottom of the league as far as high danger chances, medium danger chances. So high danger, we're talking about in the slot. Medium danger, that's kind of like a mushroom cloud around the slot. They got a few goals tonight from those low danger areas, which still, when you look at high, medium, and low danger areas for the Kraken, they still just have a hard time just throwing the puck on net. I don't know if it's player shooting percentages that lead them to not get a bonus or whatnot, but you saw it with Catton. Catton shot the puck way in a low danger area. It was more of a mistake with Swayman than it was with Catton, but it pretty much illustrated the point. You just got to shoot the puck more.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is something that it feels like it's been a theme with this team for, I don't know, all 5 years, right? Like, this is just something that this team has always struggled with. And we've talked about it. They don't have a volume shooter. The Kraken have really never had a true volume shooter, somebody who's going to go out there and have 400 plus shots on goal by the end of the season. Like, that just hasn't been the identity of anybody that they've brought in. And yeah, they still need to, if they can't go out and find one, develop one in house.
Yeah. And I think it's something that's probably coming, which is some of the draft picks. Maybe Yanni Newman can do that volume when he eventually gets to Seattle full time, but it's something they got to find. I'm also curious, Dylan, if I can go off script a little bit here. Not that we have a script, we never have a script. But I see in the chat, I saw when I was waiting for Lane Lambert, references to Excel spreadsheets and me, and what's going on with that?
Nothing. And I told everybody not to mention it and not to say anything, but it's nothing. Everybody's in awe of your spreadsheet abilities. That's what it is. It's all good.
Are you an Excel master?
I wouldn't say a master, but I am on those spreadsheets for a lot of the game, and I'm sure you probably mentioned that, Dylan. And yes, they can look a little basic because I'm like, we'll put things in there just as the game goes on. As I think of ideas, Dylan, as I have to now assume that you're saying bad things about my spreadsheet.
I didn't even say that it looked bad or anything. I just said that it was maybe a little unorganized. That's all I said. That
I'll give you that.
Wow.
You just pick a spot and you'll just like throw the note down as you think of it. Like, that's the way anybody would use a notepad up here. I'm sure I'm sitting down where all the scouts normally sit on the press bridge. That's all they're doing. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I mean, yeah, our podcast notes spreadsheet, it does have over 24,000 rows now, and it goes back to the start.
Any newcomers to this ECH live back and forth between Dylan and RJ, they've been friends since age 5, 6? Middle school. Okay.
Yeah.
I was a little off. Okay.
Do have a super chat here from Edward. If the M's had the fun differential, could the Kraken have the fun timer? So this would be an interesting one. I mean, certainly when it comes to any team of the Pacific Division right now, none of them have a fun differential, as they're all in the negative side of things when it comes to goal differential, which again, opens up a nice opportunity for the Kraken here. But yeah, I do wonder about the fun timer. I mean, this team seemed like they wanted to try to get in as many promotions as possible this evening, whether it was the Filson final goal, the 5 goals for the Alaska stuff. The only thing we missed out on was the hat trick free hats.
I know. There was a lot going on. Jonathan, like, which one would you most want to take advantage? You want the flights to California? You want the Filson gear? I mean, what? Yeah. Or would you have wanted the hats? I guess we all would have wanted the hats.
The hats are cool. I haven't been to Southern California in a while. I'd like to see more exotic destinations, maybe Adak Island. since Alaska makes one flight every week to ECH at the end of the Aleutians, I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, let's go caribou hunting. Why not?
That should be the next 5 gold. 30% off flights to ECH.
Yes. There's one flight every Wednesday. So it's a longer story how I know that. But
I learned something today.
I was gonna say, do you also work for Alaska? Is this like a beer hall / Alaska promotion?
I rope in all the sponsors.
I wish, but we play with the guy in drop-in sometimes. He's an Alaska pilot. We'll keep his name out of it, but that's it's kind of how we know. But
hey, I rode an Alaska flight earlier today to get back from Minnesota alongside Kraken management. So they're on board as well. Bryce is asking RJ favorite XL formula.
Don't make me pick a favorite. I can't.
This is the city of Seattle. You have to at least throw one of them out there. I just like some.
Wow, dead air.
Just like some.
Did you like that pun right there? Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I just, I use average the most because everywhere, and I just like 2. So maybe that one, even though it's the most basic answer I could give.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll give you some time. You can come up with a better one there. Just kind of go through everything. I mean, just both of your thoughts on tonight's game and really the Kraken here for like the last little bit, especially with Jonathan. Don't have you on often ever.
Well, hopefully this could be like a monthly thing. I mean, the hall, all 3 locations supporting you. Almost since the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And it's
even better than the beginning. After year 1, after how year 1 went,
yes.
They decided we want to be a
more
part
impressive.
Of it.
Yes.
Yeah, and with our 3 locations right down the street from Climate Pledge Arena, Queen Anne Beer Hall, the OG owners retook it over right after COVID. Brand new ownership, brand new vibe. Kind of like what we've talked about before, RJ. Culture starts at the top. And it really does with Queen Anne Beer Hall. About a year and a half later, they opened up Moss Bay Hall in Kirkland because one of the owners lives in Kirkland, Lake Washington grad. And we've been open about 7-8 months now, right next to Lumen Field. It's the hall on Occidental, and we're getting ready for another Seahawks beer garden. That's going to be for their, not this weekend game, but it's going to be January 18th. We don't know the time yet, but y'all come out and join us. You mentioned the M's earlier. It's been a crazy fun ride in Seattle sports lately.
Yeah,
and Jonathan. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and the Kraken jumping on board with that here with the streak that they're on and putting themselves in this position where they're 1 point out of first place in the division.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, it's been a while since we've had the chance to actually catch up on the Kraken and how they're playing. What do you think of this run that they're on?
It's a really good run, and especially it's a great run with not a lot of high-profile named players. The goalies are playing well. Probably the biggest surprise, pleasant surprise for me, is Philip Grubauer. We have him at the hall tapping the keg almost every Oktoberfest, and we've seen him through socials and his fashion and being out there in the community. But really locking his game down. And, one of the other stats we could dive into here is the rebound shots against and for the Kraken. So every time you take a shot, what are the chances you getting a rebound chance off of an initial shot or off of a goalie save? And you could see it over the last number of games. As a goalie myself, you see it. Grubauer and the quarter keeping the pucks right in the center and not letting a whole lot sneak out. So,
you mentioned, Jonathan, you are a goalie. You do play goalie. You've got a little more size actually than maybe the Kraken.
Wait, let me show the full size. Hold on. Okay. Never mind.
Real height
Never mind.
There.
So,
but what do you see? Because we were asked all the time about, what is it different for Grubauer this year as opposed to last year? And I know goalies kind of see the game in a different way, regardless of what level you play goalie. What is different from him this year as opposed to last year?
Well, I've seen more of a trusting his defense more, being able to have a bigger presence in net. not do too much. I think that Philip is simplifying his game and probably taking a few pages out of Joey Jacord's playbook. Because the other stat I talked about, and again, something that the Kraken really need for a sustained playoff run so they don't have another dip again, is, rebound shots for and rebound goals for. They're at the bottom of the league for rebound shots. They're not getting a lot of rebound shots off of shots. So it's being able to pick the spots on the goalie to be able to create those rebound chances. You saw Ty Cartier follow his shot in the third tonight, be able to get that. But it's being able to shoot the puck at the goalie in their most vulnerable spots. So like low blocker, low and away on the pads, because if you go high and away on the pads, those are going to shoot out towards the boards. But low and away on the pads, sometimes that'll deaden the puck to have a shot right on the doorstep. And you see Philip working on his game over the past couple of years. And, we didn't see it last year or the year before, but we've really seen maybe a renaissance. He's not from Italy, but we're seeing a renaissance out of Philip Grubauer, aren't we?
Close enough.
Yeah. No, and I love having the goalie perspective on here. I mean, we've been talking forever about the Kraken needing to, do the classic pass off the pads, right? Like this has been a team that's never really taken advantage off of either trying to generate those rebound chances or really being there for those rebound chances. Obviously, getting Jaden Schwartz back here soon will help with that. He's been kind of one of their most consistent net front, net side players over the last couple of years. But that is like another area that is something that we've talked about. And this team, for whatever reason, they just haven't really added that one or two players that really wants to kind of grind that out.
Well, here's why that rebound stat matters, because rebound shots for at the bottom of the league. If you raise that up, rebound goals for right in the middle of the league. So the Kraken are able to put those rebound chances away. They just need them.
Yeah, they got to be there in the first place if you want to take advantage of them. Got Mark here. I think tanking is out of the question now. If management purposely tanked as much as this team wants to make the playoffs, it would break them for years. Yeah, I don't think anybody internally is talking about tanking. I don't know that, as we've talked about this offseason, I don't think that was the idea at all. This was a team that always wanted to make the playoffs and always wanted to push for the playoffs, and that's from top on down.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever the plan, really. The Lane Lambert hire shows you it was never the plan. And now they bank too many points. It's out of the question. You have to go. It's playoffs or bust for this team.
Yeah, definitely. Loving the chat. The talk of Gru in here. We have lots of Grus in chat here. Love to see that. Somebody asking who the 3 stars of the game were tonight. All Kraken players in this one. Vince Dunn picks up the 3rd star in this. Jared McCann, the 2nd star. And of course, Berkeley Catton had to be 1st star of the game in this one. Beautiful to see that for him. And I know he was really, really excited about that. I mean, was there anything else from either the players, RJ, or from Lane Lambert on this one? I mean, the Kraken score 7 tonight. That is not something that they have done often this season. Was there more beyond just the excitement for Berkeley Catton?
Yeah, well, I mean, Lane Lambert was asked about, with the goal scoring, what was the difference, as opposed to the previous games. He's just like, pucks are going in for us. He thought the team had a lot of chances that they just weren't able to convert on in those games where they weren't scoring as much, and that the pucks are just simply going in for them. And, it can be a bit of a roller coaster ride over the course of the season. I feel like it's a very coach answer, Jonathan, right? Where it's, coach is always going to say, look, we've been getting the chances the whole time. They're just kind of going in for us now. I don't know how much I really believe that. I feel like they are doing some things a little differently. But, I don't know. Do you agree with that? Or do you think they were just always getting the chances or just now getting the luck?
Well, you're getting chances, but again, it goes back to what are your percentages on your shots? The high percent, the high danger shots right there in the slot, the medium danger shots, which you saw Pasternak score that beautiful goal on one of those medium danger shots, which is right there, right at the post, right over Decord's shoulder. Perfect example of being able to get players in those positions to shoot those high or medium danger shots. And you can say as a coach, or you can glaze over or tie it up, wrap it up in a bow, great packaging by saying that. But unless you're going out there working on it and folks like us being able to see it up on the press bridge, it's I am very cautious about another dip in the schedule here in the second half, especially, and it'll be very, very telling what the Olympic break does, because, there's the politics over, are the players going to play? Are they not? How does the Kraken finish strong? And then what do they do over the break to make that run once they come back at the end of February?
Yeah, it's a long enough break compared to, say, a traditional all-star break where any momentum, whether it's a skid that you're going into the Olympic break with, or any positive momentum you're going into the Olympic break with, it goes away. Like, it's not there waiting for you when you come back, because you're losing close to 3 weeks and it's just too much time. And so to be able to get back up and going, get back up to full speed, come out there and start competing, especially for the players that, assuming players go to the Olympics, the players that aren't going to be going to the Olympics, right? Getting your body back up and ready. Obviously, the time off is great to rest and recover, because you'll have played, 50 plus games up until that point. And that's a lot of, little things that you're dealing with. But then to be able to get your body back into the place where, starting with that first game back, you're able to go at 100% again and go and battle and make sure you're winning those battles, make sure you're going to those net front areas, those high percentage areas. You're trying to shoot for those rebounds, go and battle for those rebounds. It's going to be tough on everybody. It's going to be tough for the Kraken. And so they just have to, find a way of kind of working through that. That being said, we've talked a lot about Lane Lambert tonight before you both joined us. I think if any coach the Kraken have ever had could do it, I think Lane Lambert is the guy to kind of get everybody regrouped, refocused, and then back out there with that positive and hardworking mentality.
Yeah, I mean, he's already done more than I thought was possible to keep this team on the rails after that long losing streak. At this point, I'm just a believer.
Well, let me ask you both, what is the biggest difference that both of you have seen between Hackstall last year and Lambert this year?
Yeah, I mean, with Bilesma last year.
Oh, excuse me, Bilesma. My
apologies.
My apologies. I'm going back to when this jersey was around. So yes, Bilesma, former Pitt coach. The one and done season that a lot of us in the media were kind of wondering about and a little surprised about. What's the biggest difference that you've seen between Disco Dan and Mr. Lane?
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Go for it. Oh.
I was going to say kick it off.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it's just been how focused he's been able to keep the room. And I talked about this earlier, so I won't spend too long on it. But for me, I think the fact that he's been able to, they were able to survive that losing streak that they had, and everybody was able to stay focused. He was able to continue working with them. They were able to tweak systems. Everybody stayed engaged. That is something we have not seen a coach be able to manage with this core group of players during those previous seasons. And that, to me, was the most impressive thing so far with Lane Lambert.
Also, I think that the style of hockey the team is playing is just a better fit for the roster they have. The whole point is just to take skill out of it, basically completely, rely on getting good goaltending, rely on staying solid defensively. That's a better fit for the guys that they have, rather than Dan Bilesma's up-tempo, scoring-based type of style, speed type of stuff. The Kraken just do not have the skilled players to make that.
And you just mentioned great defensive play, and I think this is one of the best seasons that we've seen with Kraken defensive play. Now, on the flip side of those stats I was talking about were rebound goals against, and the Kraken one of the best teams at not allowing rebound goals. So that's a testament to not only great goaltending, swallowing up those pucks, but great defensive play as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Definitely. All right, I think we can close it out on this one from Amy. Favorite goal of the evening, and I'll pass this one over to you guys if you want. I there's a lot to choose from. Again, we don't normally get this many choices.
No, we don't. And I think it's fair. I'm going to let Jonathan go first. He can have his pick of the goals. I'll pick one that he doesn't.
Okay. All right. I've got to go with Pasta's goal. Going straight up.
You had 7 Kraken.
I did have 7 Kraken goals, but that one was pretty amazing, especially with where he shot it from. Okay, I'll give my favorite Kraken goal though. I liked Berkeley Catton's second one. Clean on the breakaway, backhand shot. Swayman had a really good chance to get in front of it, but Catton put it where he wasn't. So does that get me back in better graces with you guys?
We'll see. I don't know. You're still on thin ice after going to the hockey first. I don't know about that. I mean, I got to go with the Berkeley Catton first goal, and it's not even really for the play. It was just seeing how excited his teammates were for him after that. Jared McCann, the broadcast didn't catch it, but Jared McCann, the jumping for joy. I mean, I guess the closest thing I can compare it to that everyone might have seen, you know, the Wayne Gretzky goal celebration where he's like doing this.
Yeah.
You know.
Wait. How did that go again?
Yeah, I'm not doing it again.
Okay. All right.
But it looks kind of like that. Just like, again, the jumping for joy. I'll do it one more time. As he's heading over to Berkeley.
Right.
It was perfect. It brought a smile to my face. Shane Wright just hugging him on the bench. Like, everyone was so thrilled for their teammate. I love it.
I was going to say that Shane Wright getting the puck for him and then giving him the big hug afterwards and everything. Love to see that. You guys took some good ones, not leaving me a lot here. Just 5 goals to choose from for me. I'm torn between the Ben Myers goal just because it's the fourth line putting in the work like they do, right? Kind of cycling the puck down low, that low cycle that's so tough for other teams to deal with, other teams' defensemen to deal with. You end up opening up those pockets, and that's, of course, what happens in that one where Ben Myers is able to kind of get to one of those areas you've been talking about, Jonathan, and able to score a goal there and in a more medium danger area. And then, obviously, the Jordan Eberle power play goal just to kick things off at this one, just because the importance of scoring first for this Kraken team and what that tends to mean for them being able to go on and win the games. And it was just another good one where it was, you know, the work of the power play. Obviously, it's a 5-on-3 situation, so you have a lot of stuff that you could work with. But they were
Can't
able
take that
to
for granted, though.
No, you can't, and not with this team. And they were able to really effectively kind of pull Swayman out of position there, and Eberle was able to finish on that one. Like I said, just kind of kick things off for a really good night of Kraken hockey. So might have to go with that one here. But yeah, no, they're all solid. And again, I love that we get 7 of them to choose from on a night of first
or 8.
Yeah. Or 8 if we count that one. I'm not like, look, it was a very skilled goal. Like I'm not. Okay. I won't deny it. I won't deny it. But on the night of first, we get obviously Berkeley Catton's first 2 NHL goals. Get the win in the jerseys. The curse was broken. Did any of the players even mention that, RJ?
No, well, I know Piper asked, I think it was for TV. I was just talking to Piper as we were waiting for Lambert. She said she asked Jared McCann about that. I don't know whether that was on camera or off camera, so I don't want to, steal any of her stuff there. But no, there weren't any questions about the jerseys to the players. It was a lot of focus on Berkeley Cat.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair. But the curse of the third jersey is over. They can win in them now. It's safe to watch the games with them in and now. It's safe to go and buy one if you haven't bought one already. It's all over.
Bought one at this point.
I know. But
hey, don't single me out, okay?
Yeah. I mean, you got this one. This is
right.
Yeah, nobody's got one like that. That is nice. All right, I think that's going to do it for this Emerald City Hockey postgame live presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall, and we'll pass
Jonathan,
it over
we should let you do the thanking Queen Anne Beer Hall here for sponsoring.
Well, first off, I have to thank Emerald City Hockey, the best coverage of the Kraken. Everyone who's on the chat right now, tell your friends who aren't, get them on there. It's community, and when they come and do watch parties, it's a special endeavor, and it's so great having the Marine Layer guys with baseball, but these guys are the OGs with us. And it's been just a really special thing. Both of these guys so genuine, moving their lives up here to cover the Kraken. And that's pretty awesome. But Queen Anne Beer Hall, Moss Bay Hall in Kirkland, the new hall on Occidental, really right across the street from Gate 4 of Lumen Field. I was hosting trivia there tonight while I was watching the game, doing a little double duty, doing the shots and all the stats I was talking about. But and so we have trivia at all of our locations on Tuesdays. We're having the big Seattle Seahawks beer garden right next to Lumen Field. That's January 18th. And then about a month later, RJ and Dylan, we've got a special collaboration with Lucky Envelope Brewing. We do it every year during Chinese New Year. It's the year of the horse this year. And so it's going to be later on in February, sometime February 24th, 23rd or 24th, something like that. And we hand out envelopes that got to stay sealed, and you could win a myriad of prizes. I mean, one of the things that we're doing right now is we've partnered with Seattle University, hosting basketball games here. And if you come to a Seattle U Red Hawks game here inside Climate Pledge Arena, you have a chance to win smash burgers for a year. And that's pretty awesome.
Wow. You got RJ's attention.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Go to Seattle.
Yep. We've got one on the 17th, and then I'm trying to remember the last two. I think the last one's with St. Mary's sometime later on in January. But thank you all for letting me come on. It'd be great to come back again next month or whenever y'all have a slow news night like a 7-goal Kraken win.
Yeah.
So
well, thank you so much, Jonathan. Really appreciate that. And thank you for the kind words too. Check's in the mail. The check is from Queen Anne Beer Hall to us, actually, which we do very much appreciate.
Wait. Check to me, check to them, to me, them.
Details aren't important there.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely appreciate you being able to join us tonight, Jonathan. Thank you for the kind words in there as well. That does mean a lot. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening on Post Game Live. Special shout out to everybody who had the super chats in this one. We really appreciate those, and we will see you all next time.